What if everything they said about you was a lie designed to keep you small? What if the accusations that nearly destroyed you were actually proof that you're exactly who God called you to be? What if your innocence wasn't just going to be proven, but weaponized for your destiny? Chosen one, I need you to feel this in your spirit right now. There is a crash out happening in the realm you cannot see. Someone who plotted your downfall is unraveling. Someone who paid good money to frame you, to curse you, to plant evidence against you, they are losing their mind in public right now. And it's not because they're crazy. It's because the universe just handed them back every ounce of poison they tried to feed you. You didn't deserve what they put you through. The sleepless nights, the fear, the isolation, the moment you questioned if God had forgotten your name. But here's what they didn't count on. You are covered by a protection they cannot touch. The evidence they tried to fabricate, it crumbled. The witnesses they paid off, they're speaking truth now. The legal traps they set, they caught themselves instead. I'm talking about physical, tangible proof that is surfacing right now. Documents, recordings, testimony showing the world exactly who you are, innocent, protected, chosen, and the person who came for you. They're standing outside official buildings in their professional clothes, held back by security, screaming to the sky. Because karma just cashed in every spiritual debt they accumulated. You didn't have to lift a finger. You didn't have to curse back. You didn't have to play dirty. You just had to stay clean, and God did the rest. Now, before I go deeper, I want to honor something sacred here. Thank you to every single one of you who has supported this message through Super Thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and sow a seed into this ministry. Not out of obligation, but out of spiritual alignment. When you give to the message that sets you free, you activate overflow in your own life. Now let me tell you what's about to happen. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact spiritual mechanics of how this frame job collapsed. I'm going to show you the 3 parts of your body that were under attack and why your daily cleansing unlocked this divine reversal. I'm going to reveal who this person is, what they paid for, and why their professional life is about to implode. And I'm going to give you the prophetic blueprint for what comes next in your life now that your name has been cleared. But right now, I need you to do something powerful. Hit that like button, not for the algorithm, but as a declaration to the heavens that you are ready to be vindicated. Share this message with someone who's been falsely accused and needs to know their breakthrough is here. And drop 777 in the comments to signal that you are walking in divine alignment, protected by forces no human scheme can penetrate. Your innocence isn't just being proven chosen one, it's being advertised. Let's go. Have you ever been so right that someone had to destroy you to prove themselves? Have you ever shined so bright that darkness itself formed a committee to plot your downfall? Have you ever been so protected by God that the only weapon left against you was a lie? Chosen one, listen to me carefully. Someone has been watching you, not casually, not randomly, but with the focused intensity of a predator circling wounded prey. They've studied your social media like it's a textbook on success. They've monitored your patterns, your routines, your victories. They've asked mutual friends about you. Innocent questions wrapped in poison. How's she doing? Is he really doing that well? They've analyzed every move you make, searching desperately for the crack in your foundation, the weakness they could exploit. But here's what made them lose their mind. They found nothing. You healed. You grew. You became someone they could no longer recognize, and that terrified them. This person shares something with you. Blood, maybe. History, definitely. They came from the same broken place you did, the same dysfunction, the same childhood wounds, the same family chaos. But while you chose therapy, they chose bitterness. While you processed your pain, they weaponized theirs. While you broke generational curses, they became one. And now they're watching you thrive from the same starting line, and it's eating them alive. Proverbs 14:30 says, "A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones." Their bones are rotting, chosen one, not because of what you did to them, but because of what they refused to do for themselves. So they made a decision. If they couldn't have what you have, they would destroy what you built. If they couldn't rise to your level, they would drag you down to theirs. If they couldn't discredit your success, they would discredit your character. The setup was elaborate. False testimony was prepared. Documents were fabricated with surgical precision. Timelines were manipulated. They found people weak, people desperate, people compromised people, and they coordinated a narrative. Money changed hands. Spiritual practitioners were hired. Real cash was invested in your destruction. And for a moment, just a brief moment, it looked like it might work. Evidence was planted. Lies were told with straight faces. Situations were twisted until up looked like down and innocence looked like guilt. They thought they had you cornered. They believed the walls were closing in. They could already taste your humiliation, your financial ruin, your public downfall. They sat back and waited for the collapse, for the moment when you would panic, when you would scramble, when you would react exactly the way guilty people react. But that moment never came. You stayed calm, not because you're superhuman, but because you're spiritually grounded. You didn't spiral into fear because your foundation isn't built on lies, it's built on truth. You didn't need to manufacture a defense because innocence doesn't require performance. You simply released control and trusted that truth has a way of rising to the surface, no matter how deep the lies try to bury it. Psalm 37:6 promises, "He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun." You didn't have to force it. You just had to wait for it. And while you were waiting in peace, your attacker was unraveling in chaos. Because here's what they didn't understand about curses: when you send darkness towards someone covered in light, it doesn't disappear. it boomerangs. They paid good money to spiritual workers thinking they could block your power center, tie up your destiny, make you lose in court or business or life. But you carry protection they cannot see. You've built spiritual defenses through daily acts of joy, through healing your inner child, through choosing peace over revenge. Every time you danced, every time you created, every time you chose forgiveness over bitterness, you were fortifying a shield that no amount of purchased witchcraft could penetrate. So when those curses traveled toward you, they hit that shield and ricocheted straight back to the source, amplified, multiplied, supercharged with divine justice. Now, the evidence is speaking. Not your voice, not your defense, the evidence itself. Text messages are surfacing where they discuss the setup. Financial records are showing payments to practitioners and co-conspirators. Witnesses who promised to lie are now telling the truth because the weight of deception became heavier than the fear of consequences. The timeline they constructed is collapsing under basic questioning. The documentation they altered is being exposed as fraudulent, and the person who orchestrated all of it is standing in public, dressed in professional clothes, held back by security, having an absolute meltdown because they're watching their own trap snap shut on them. This isn't just your innocence being proven. This is divine justice being advertised. This is God making an example so loud that everyone in your circle, everyone who doubted you, everyone who stayed silent, everyone who participated in the lies, they all have to watch the truth, demolish the false narrative in real time. Isaiah 54:17 declares, "No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you." This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. You are that servant. This is your heritage. And right now, it's manifesting in ways that cannot be denied. Drop 7777 in the comments if you've ever been misunderstood, falsely accused, or set up to fail, and you're ready to see your innocence not just proven, but celebrated. Because what's coming next isn't just vindication, it's elevation. And the same people who tried to bury you are about to watch you rise. But how did this all fall apart so perfectly? What spiritual mechanics were at play that made their entire scheme collapse? That's what we need to understand next, because your protection didn't just happen by accident. Now, let me show you what happens when heaven decides to speak. When God says enough, the universe doesn't whisper, it roars. And chosen one right now, that roar is echoing through every corner of the scheme that was built against you. The evidence they thought would bury you 6 feet deep is now erupting from the ground like a resurrection, and it's speaking louder than any lie ever could. Let me paint this picture for you. Somewhere right now, there's a conference room. There are officials, maybe lawyers, maybe investigators, and they're looking at documents, the same documents that were supposed to seal your fate. But something's wrong. The timeline doesn't match. The witness statements contradict each other. The financial records show payments that make no sense unless someone was being paid to lie. The text messages that were supposed to stay hidden, they're on the table now. And they don't say what your accuser claimed they said. They say the opposite. They reveal coordination, premeditation, malicious intent, but not from you, from them. This is what truth does when it's time. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It breaks through like a storm that's been gathering for months. And when it finally hits, everything that was built on lies gets swept away in seconds. You see, lies require constant maintenance. They need to be propped up, reinforced, protected from scrutiny. But truth just sits there, patient and unmovable, waiting for someone to finally look at it directly. And the moment they do, the whole house of cards collapses. Here's what your attacker didn't understand. About evidence, it always tells a story. And when you fabricate evidence, you're writing fiction, and fiction has plot holes. The document that was supposed to prove you were somewhere. The metadata shows it was created last week, not 6 months ago. The witness who swore you said something incriminating. Their phone records prove they weren't even in the same city as you that day. The financial transaction they claimed you made. Your bank records show you were overdrawn at that exact time. Every single piece of their carefully constructed lie is being dismantled by the one thing they couldn't fake: verifiable reality. But let's go deeper than the physical evidence, because what's happening in the spiritual realm is even more powerful. Do you remember what I said about those curses? About the money they paid to practitioners to block your destiny, to make you lose, to destroy your power center. Listen to what happened. Those rituals were performed. The ceremonies were conducted. The negative energy was sent directly at you with focused, malicious intent. They paid top dollar for this chosen one. They didn't go to some amateur. They found someone who claimed to have real power, someone who promised results, someone who said, "Give me your money and I'll make sure they fall." But when that curse traveled toward you, something magnificent happened. Your spiritual shield, the one you've been building without even fully realizing it, it activated. Every act of joy you chose, when you could have chosen bitterness, every moment you healed, instead of harbored resentment, every time you danced in your living room, every time you spoke kindly to your inner child, every time you chose peace over revenge. All of it was building an energetic fortress around you. And when that darkness hit your light, it didn't penetrate. It bounced hard, fast, and it went straight back to the source, multiplied by the divine mathematics of cosmic justice. The practitioner they hired probably felt it immediately. The moment the curse failed, the moment it reversed, they knew. They knew they'd taken money to attack someone who carries protection they cannot touch. And your attacker. They started experiencing things they couldn't explain. Sudden financial problems, unexplained health issues, relationships falling apart, opportunities evaporating, professional credibility crumbling. And the worst part for them, they knew exactly why it was happening. They knew they'd declared spiritual war on someone who had angels in their corner, and now they were losing badly. 2 Corinthians 10:4 tells us, "The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds." Your weapon wasn't manipulation. It wasn't retaliation. It wasn't even a strong defense. Your weapon was alignment with truth. And truth doesn't just win. Eventually, truth is undefeated. It has never lost. Not once in human history has a lie permanently buried the truth. The truth always rises, and when it does, it brings everything hidden into the light with it. So now, we arrive at the moment you've been waiting for. The public breakdown. The crash out. Picture this: your attacker, dressed in professional attire, the costume they wear to convince the world they're credible, trustworthy, successful, standing outside an official building. Maybe it's a courthouse. Maybe it's a police station. Maybe it's a professional licensing board. And they're not composed anymore. They're not wearing the mask. The mask has shattered. They're being held back by security, screaming, flailing completely, unraveling in front of witnesses, in front of colleagues, in front of people who thought they knew this person. And everyone watching is thinking the same thing. What happened to them? I'll tell you what happened. The weight of lies became unbearable. The stress of maintaining a false narrative while watching it crumble became too much. The terror of knowing that every single scheme failed, that every piece of planted evidence got exposed, that every witness flipped, that every curse boomeranged it, broke them. Not you. You stayed calm. You stayed centered. You stayed in your power. But them, they're having the meltdown of the century because they're watching divine justice operate in real time, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. And here's the beautiful part. This isn't happening in secret. This isn't happening behind closed doors where they can spin it later. This is public. This is witnessed. This is documented. People who doubted you are watching. People who stayed neutral are watching. People who believed the lies are watching. And they're all seeing the same thing. The person who tried to destroy you is destroying themselves. And you didn't have to lift a finger. Romans 12:19 says, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, 'It is mine to avenge. I will repay,' says the Lord." You left room, and God showed up. Your professional reputation, it's being restored right now. Your character, it's being vindicated publicly. Your innocence, it's not just being proven, it's being advertised like a billboard on the highway of divine justice. And every person who participated in trying to frame you, everyone who stayed silent when they knew you were innocent, everyone who doubted you, they're all having to confront an uncomfortable truth. They were wrong. You were right. And the universe just made sure everyone knows it. If you feel the shift happening in your life right now, if you can sense the tide turning, if you know in your spirit that your vindication is not coming, but is already here, type 777 in the comments. Declare it, activate it, align with it, because what's coming next isn't just relief, it's restoration, elevation, and overflow. Your innocence was never in question with God. Now, it's undeniable to everyone else. But vindication is only the beginning. Now, we need to talk about what happens after the storm clears, because there's a harvest waiting for you that you haven't even imagined yet. Let me tell you what happened in the realm you couldn't see. While you were sleeping, while you were praying, while you were simply living your life in peace, there was a war being waged for your destiny. And chosen one, you need to understand something. The attacks against you weren't just physical. They were spiritual, financial, emotional, and generational. This person didn't just want to ruin your reputation. They wanted to dismantle your entire existence. Money was spent. Real money. The kind of money that creates financial strain that should have gone to rent or groceries or legitimate expenses. But jealousy doesn't do math. Rage doesn't budget. So they found someone, a practitioner, a worker, someone who claimed to have power over spiritual forces, and they commissioned your destruction. They brought pictures of you. They shared details about your life, your vulnerabilities, your upcoming court date, or business deal, or family situation. They paid for ceremonies specifically designed to block your power center, to tie up your finances, to make you lose everything you'd worked for. The practitioner took the money, performed the ritual, and gave assurances that the work was complete. Your attacker walked away feeling victorious, believing they'd finally found the weapon that would bring you down. But then nothing happened. Days passed. Weeks passed. And not only did nothing bad happen to you, everything started going catastrophically wrong for them. Because here's what they didn't know, what they couldn't have known: you carry protection that operates in dimensions beyond human sight. Spiritual guardians surround you. Angels assigned to your calling stand watch. And when that curse traveled toward you, when those negative intentions were launched like missiles aimed at your spirit, your shield didn't just block them, it reflected them. Every ounce of darkness they sent was returned to sender amplified, multiplied, supercharged with the weight of divine justice. This is not metaphor. This is not religious poetry. This is spiritual law. Proverbs 26:27 says it plainly: whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them. They dug the pit. They rolled the stone. And now they're trapped in the hole they created for you, crushed under the weight they meant for your shoulders. The practitioner they hired probably sensed halfway through the ritual that this wasn't going to work. They probably felt your protection like a wall of fire they couldn't penetrate. But the money was already paid, so assurances were given anyway. And now, your attacker is standing in public, losing their mind because they got scammed and cursed simultaneously. But let's talk about why your shield is so strong. It wasn't given to you freely. You built it, brick by brick, choice by choice, healing session by healing session. Every time you chose therapy over bitterness, you laid another stone in your fortress. Every time you danced in your living room, every time you created art, every time you walked in nature and reconnected with joy, you were fortifying your spiritual defenses. Every time you held the hand of your inner child, every time you comforted the wounded parts of yourself instead of numbing them with addiction or vengeance, you were building immunity to attacks like this. Your power center, that core of personal authority, that seat of creativity and joy, has been nurtured by you. Not neglected, not abandoned, not left vulnerable to external invasion. They studied you, but they studied the wrong things. They analyzed your external patterns, where you go, what you post, who you talk to, but they never understood your internal landscape. They never comprehended the depth of healing work you've done. They looked at your life and thought, "We came from the same place. Why does she have peace and I have chaos? Why does he have success and I have struggle?" And instead of asking themselves what you did differently, they convinced themselves you must have cheated, you must have lied, you must have stolen what they deserved. That delusion became their operating system. And when delusion meets reality, reality always wins. Now watch what's happening. Their professional life. The carefully constructed image of competence ethics and trustworthiness is disintegrating in real time. Word spreads fast in professional communities, especially when someone has a public breakdown over getting caught in a lie. Clients are asking questions. Colleagues are creating distance. Business partners are reconsidering associations. Professional organizations are reviewing memberships. Invitations that used to come regularly have stopped. Networks that took years to build are fracturing under the weight of exposed behavior. Because reputation isn't just about what you accomplish. It's about who people believe you are. And right now, everyone is discovering that this person is willing to lie, manipulate frame, and destroy others when threatened by their success. Legal consequences are mounting. False accusations in official settings carry real penalties. If sworn statements were made, if court documents were filed, if legal proceedings were weaponized against you, perjury charges are on the table. Filing false reports is criminal. Conspiracy to commit fraud is prosecutable. The legal system doesn't take kindly to people who turn it into a personal weapon. And every text message planning the attack, every financial transaction paying for curses or witnesses, every search query about how to frame someone creates a documentation trail that leads directly to guilt. The same evidence that proved your innocence is simultaneously proving their malice. The same process that vindicated you is now prosecuting them. But the spiritual debt goes deeper than courtrooms. They engaged with dark forces intentionally. They invited negative energies into their life. They aligned themselves with practitioners who work in harmful ways. And on a spiritual level, doors were opened that cannot easily be closed. Agreements were made without full understanding. Attachments were formed that will drain their energy for years. Meanwhile, your spiritual balance is pristine. You didn't retaliate with curses. You didn't hire someone to fight fire with fire. You maintained integrity throughout this entire ordeal. You stayed connected to truth, to prayer, to light. And because of that alignment, the universe is responding with open doors, continued protection, and complete vindication. Ecclesiastes 10:8 warns, "Whoever digs a pit may fall into it. Whoever breaks through a wall may be bitten by a snake." They broke through the walls that weren't theirs to touch. They dug pits meant for your destiny. And now, they're being bitten by every snake they unleashed, falling into every hole they created. This isn't you getting revenge. This is natural law restoring balance. This is karma operating exactly as designed. This is God defending His chosen ones without them having to lift a finger. And here's what makes this even more powerful: bystanders are learning. Mutual friends who stayed neutral, colleagues who weren't sure who to believe, family members who tried to avoid taking sides. They're all watching this unfold. They're seeing the evidence prove your innocence. They're witnessing the public breakdown of someone they thought they knew. They're learning that false accusations don't hold up under scrutiny, that truth eventually surfaces, no matter how deeply buried, that people who try to destroy others end up destroying themselves. Your vindication is teaching discernment to everyone paying attention. Your story is becoming a cautionary tale about what happens when you come for someone God is protecting. Drop 7777 in the comments if you've ever felt like you were under spiritual attack, but came out stronger, more protected, more aligned than ever before. Because what you're about to step into next isn't just relief, it's reward. And the same people who tried to bury you are about to watch you bloom. Chosen one, do you feel it? That shift in the atmosphere, that sudden lightness in your chest where heaviness used to sit. That's not relief. That's vindication. Arriving with the force of a tidal wave, washing away every lie that was ever spoken against you. The moment you've been waiting for isn't coming, it's here. And it's more complete, more public, more devastating to your enemies than you ever imagined possible. The evidence has spoken, not whispered, not suggested, declared. Court documents are showing your innocence in black and white. Witnesses who were supposed to destroy you have either gone silent or flipped completely, now testifying to the truth. Text messages between your accusers are being read aloud in rooms that matter, messages where they discussed how to frame you, what lies to tell, who to pay off. Financial records are exposed, showing exactly how much money was spent trying to manufacture your guilt. Every fabricated document is being torn apart by experts. Every manipulated timeline is collapsing under the most basic scrutiny. The trap they built with such confidence has become their own prison, and the door just slammed shut. But here's what makes this vindication so profound. It's not just legal. It's spiritual. It's not just your name being cleared. It's your destiny being unleashed. Romans 8:31 asks the question that answers everything. If God is for us, who can be against us? They came against you with money, with lies, with dark spiritual practices, with coordinated attacks. But none of it could stand against the simple fact that God Himself vouched for your innocence. When the Creator of the universe stamps approved on your life, no human signature can override it. And now, we get to watch what happens when someone tries to destroy the anointed. Your accuser is having a public breakdown. I'm talking about a full crash out, the kind that gets recorded, shared, discussed in whispers at professional gatherings. Picture this, standing outside official buildings, dressed in their best professional attire, being physically restrained because the rage has become uncontrollable. Security is involved. Witnesses are filming. Colleagues are watching in horror, and in that moment, everyone who ever believed their lies is now seeing who they really are. The mask has shattered. The carefully maintained image of competence, credibility, and respectability is gone. What's left is someone undone by their own poison, drowning in the karma they created. Their professional life is imploding. Clients are asking questions they can't answer. Business partners are distancing themselves overnight. Invitations that used to come automatically have stopped. Networks they spent years building are fracturing because no one wants to be associated with someone who tried to frame an innocent person and failed so spectacularly. Proverbs 26:27 says it perfectly. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them. They dug the pit, they rolled the stone, and now they're buried under the weight of their own wickedness, while you stand on solid ground untouched, vindicated, elevated. But let's go deeper into what's happening spiritually, because this isn't just courtroom justice, this is cosmic rebalancing. They paid practitioners to curse your power center, to block your blessings, to tie up your destiny. Those curses didn't just fail, they reversed with supernatural precision. Every ounce of negative energy sent your way hit your shield of divine protection and boomerangs straight back to them, amplified. Now, they're dealing with spiritual debt they don't even understand. Doors that used to open easily are now sealed. Opportunities that came naturally are now distant. Peace they once had is now replaced with anxiety they can't shake. Sleep is disturbed. Health is declining. Relationships are crumbling. This is what happens when you touch God's anointed. This is what happens when you weaponize darkness against light. This vindication is teaching lessons far beyond your personal story. Bystanders are learning that false accusations don't hold up under truth's microscope. Mutual friends are discovering that charisma without character eventually collapses. Colleagues are realizing that you can't manipulate your way to lasting success. Family members are confronting the reality that unhealed wounds create wounded warriors who hurt others. Your innocence being proven is becoming a masterclass in divine justice for everyone paying attention. You didn't just get cleared, you became a living sermon. And here's what's beautiful about this moment. You don't have to gloat. You don't have to rub it in. You don't have to say a single word. The evidence is doing all the talking. The public breakdown is saying everything that needs to be said. The collapsed reputation is writing the final chapter of their scheme. You simply get to walk forward in peace, knowing that God fought this battle for you while you rested in His promises. Exodus 14:14 told you exactly what would happen. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. You were still. He fought. And now you're watching the victory unfold in real time. Drop 7777 in the comments right now if you're walking in your victory, if you're feeling this vindication in your spirit, if you're ready to receive the divine blessings that follow justice. Because what comes after vindication isn't just relief, it's overflow, it's abundance. It's the season you've been praying for now arriving with nothing blocking its path. Your innocence has been proven. Your enemies have been exposed. Your protection has been demonstrated. And now, chosen one, it's time to step into what was always meant for you. The battlefield is behind you. The blessing field is ahead. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what God has released in your direction. Chosen one, take a breath. A deep, full breath that fills every corner of your lungs. Feel it That's freedom. That's what it feels like when vindication isn't just proven, but settled into your bones. The battle that tried to break you has ended. The war waged against your name, your peace, your destiny, it's over, and you didn't just survive it. You emerged from it, transformed, fortified, and more powerful than you've ever been. The person you were when this started is not the person standing here now. You've been through fire, and what came out the other side is pure gold. But here's what I need you to understand with absolute clarity. This vindication wasn't the destination. It was the doorway. God didn't clear your name just so you could go back to who you used to be. He cleared the path so you could step into who you were always meant to become. Every false accusation you endured was actually removing people from your life who didn't belong in your next chapter. Every lie told about you was actually exposing toxic connections that would have hindered your elevation. Every attack on your character was actually a divine filter, separating the real from the fake, the loyal from the opportunistic, the aligned from the misaligned. You didn't lose anything valuable. You lost what was blocking your overflow. Think about Joseph for a moment. Falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, thrown into prison for a crime he didn't commit. Forgotten by people he helped. But Genesis 50:20 reveals the master plan. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Your setup wasn't just about you. Your vindication isn't just for you. The enemy thought he was destroying you, but God was actually positioning you. That prison season taught you discernment. That false accusation strengthened your character. That public attack gave you a testimony that will unlock chains for thousands of people you haven't even met yet. You're not just free, you're a freedom announcer. And now, doors are opening with supernatural ease. The same opportunities that seemed sealed when you were under attack are now swinging wide open without you having to force anything. Divine connections are appearing at perfect timing. Resources are flowing from unexpected sources. Favor is showing up in rooms you didn't even know you had access to. This isn't coincidence. This is the universe responding to your alignment. This is heaven rewarding your refusal to compromise your integrity under pressure. This is God proving that when you stay faithful in the valley, He promotes you on the mountain. Your next chapter is already written, and it's more abundant than your mind has allowed you to imagine. Ephesians 3:20 promises that God is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. That power is at work in you right now, not dormant, not waiting, active, moving, creating pathways, dismantling obstacles, orchestrating synchronicities. Your job isn't to figure out how it's all going to happen. Your job is to walk forward with confidence, knowing that divine protection surrounds you and divine provision precedes you. So, here's what I need you to do right now. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Right now. Declare it. Speak it over your life. Say out loud, I am vindicated. I am protected. I am aligned with my divine path. No weapon formed against me will prosper. My enemies are scattered, my blessings are flowing, my purpose is activated, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what God has released in my direction. Drop that final 777 in the comments to seal this declaration into the spiritual realm. Let the universe know you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're not just cleared, you're crowned. Walk forward, chosen one. Walk with your head high, your spirit clean, and your faith unshakable. The doors ahead are marked with your name. The opportunities waiting have been reserved for someone exactly like you. The abundance coming isn't contingent on perfection, it's contingent on alignment. And you, beloved, are more aligned than you've ever been. Keep shining. Keep rising. Keep walking in the victory that was purchased for you before you even knew you'd need it. Your innocence has been proven. Your enemies have been exposed. Your protection has been demonstrated. And now, your purpose is being unleashed. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your legend. Go write it with boldness. Go live it with joy. Go embody it with every step you take.